It's a little bit different out here when you get Caitlin Clark treatment. It ain't so easy peasy getting to play one-on-one, getting to just do your thing how you want to do it, when you want to do it.
Wow, the mask is off, the charade is over, and the so-called prophecy? Completely shattered. The WNBA's desperate push to crown the next Caitlin Clark just imploded under the brightest lights. Paige Bueckers, the media's golden child, the anointed heir to Clark's throne, the one branded as the savior of women's basketball, just got smacked with a dose of reality courtesy of the Seattle Storm. And make no mistake, this wasn't just a bad game. This was an exposure clinic. A reminder that hype evaporates fast when it meets the steel wall of WNBA defense. What do you think? Are you still buying into the Paige Bueckers hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's go.
This was the first time we saw Paige really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like, okay, we can show.
For months, fans have been force-fed the same scripted narrative straight out of a PR handbook. Paige Bueckers wasn't just good, she was the chosen one, the ordained torchbearer who would not only follow Caitlin Clark but surpass her. The media couldn't get enough, recycling headline after headline, pushing the fantasy that Paige was rewriting the game at a pace even Clark couldn't match. They packaged her as the flawless prototype, polished, cerebral, efficient, like the perfect basketball product rolled off an assembly line.
Elevation of one Paige Bueckers. Oh, she's better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, stab me in the eye with a spoon, for Christ's sakes. Wow. So that's a thing right now. Last night, Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points. And we're going to look at a video that just dissects and exposes a lot of that shit. Let me tell you. It exposes a lot of stuff involving Paige Bueckers getting special treatment on the court.
Remember when Paige's own college coach, Gino Arima, couldn't resist taking a shot at Caitlin Clark? That moment set the tone. From then on, Clark wasn't just underestimated, she was flat out disrespected, doubted, and treated like an outsider by the very people who should have known better.
Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Paige grabbed the headline stat fastest player to hit 200 points and 50 assists, sneaking past Caitlin Clark's pace by just one game. That was all the fuel the analysts needed. Suddenly, they were foaming at the mouth, raving about how polished she was, how much more ready she looked compared to Clark. The hype train roared down the tracks, and ESPN was right there, happily punching first-class tickets. But here's the truth about hype: it only lasts until reality shows up. And reality? It wears Seattle Storm green and gold.
A dump divas Kat Engelbert is breathing a sigh of relief. Her pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are trying to crown a new star. If the media has it their way, this could potentially be the new face of pretend basketball. And it's not just the woke media. There are even some in conservative media who are voluntarily biting into the shit sandwich. Headline at Outkick: No Caitlin, no problem. Paige Bueckers can save the WNBA season.
Fresh off her overblown crowning moment, that 44-point explosion against the Sparks, Paige walked into Seattle like she was still riding in her own parade. The problem? The Storm don't do parades. They don't throw roses. They throw traps, hard contests, and a brand of physicality that doesn't bow to hype. What followed wasn't a coronation. It was a demolition.
Off in a game against the Los Angeles Sparks, scoring 44 points, but the craziest part about that was her shooting percentage. She shot over 80% from the field, and I tweeted about that, and I was like, that's actually insane. Give props where they are due. Shooting over 80%, scoring 44 points is actually insane. But with this game, like, Paige Bueckers she put on a masterclass in scoring, and I think with that, these are some big numbers.
Paige walked out of Seattle with just 11 points. Not 11 in the first quarter. Not 11 by halftime. 11 for the entire game. On a brutal 2-4-11 shooting night, with 0 assists and just 2 lonely rebounds. That box score didn't scream future superstar. T looked more like a sympathy stat line for someone who got lost under the lights. Seattle's coach, Noel Quinn, even called it before tip-off. Time to see if this princess can handle the Caitlin Clark treatment. Spoiler alert, she couldn't. She folded.
The game, you said it's going to be important to be physical with like Paige Bueckers. Can you talk about the defensive game plan for Dallas and like how your team was able to hold them to their fewest points of the season?
Yeah, it started, with our attention to detail with Paige. I thought, Slim was very physical, stayed in her space, and the actions that we guarded her in, we were very aggressive, showed multiple bodies, and kind of, made her hesitant to use the ball screen a little bit. I thought we rotated well.
And here's where it gets fascinating, because while Paige crumbled after just one night of real defensive pressure, Caitlin Clark has been living in that storm for over a year. She's not just the player who shook up the league, she's the one who redefined it. And what's she gotten in return? Treatment so brutal even NFL linebackers would nod in approval. The receipts don't lie. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the entire 2024 WNBA season were committed against Clark alone. That's not basketball. That's open season.
Paige Bueckers got Caitlin Clark treatment for the first time in her career, and it looked bad. It looked real bad. Everybody was running around. Yeah, she was cooking 44 points versus the Sparks. They didn't play a lick of defense, letting this girl play one-on-one basketball in every area of the floor, letting her post up in the mid-range area one-on-one. Now, I'm giving credit. She's a bucket in one-on-one, especially from that mid-range, from the free throw line down area. But this is the first time we watch teams actively be persistent about taking away her spots and what she wants.
Just look at the Chicago Sky. They practically turned targeting Clark into a team hobby, racking up 80% of those flagrant fouls on her alone. Meanwhile, Paige floated through games like she was still in some glorified college scrimmage, coddled and untouched. The very first time she tasted Clark-level intensity, she shriveled. Her shot disappeared. Her efficiency evaporated. Her game looked hollow. Seattle's defense treated her like the superstar she was hyped up to be and exposed her as anything but. She didn't rise. She got blitzed.
She got doubled. And do you want to know what she did as soon as she got blitzed and doubles? She passed. Paige Bueckers, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7 times.
The media loved parading Paige's shooting numbers like they were scripture. That smooth 47.4% clip was shoved in every debate, always contrasted against Clark's 41.7% as a rookie. To them, it was undeniable proof Paige was more polished. But here's what they never mentioned. Caitlin Clark was taking the hardest shots in the league while eating contact that rarely even drew a whistle. Paige's shiny percentage? Built on soft defense and wide-open looks. And the second she was defended like a real star, those numbers collapsed 2 makes on 11 attempts. That's not efficiency. That's a mirage, dissolving the moment it's tested. Meanwhile, Clark keeps torching defenses engineered solely to stop her. She buries contested threes from 28 feet, drives through hacks, shrugs off elbows, and still delivers highlight reels that sell out arenas. Her resilience makes Paige's struggles look even more glaring. Clark has proven she can take punishment and still perform at a generational level. Paige got one taste of that storm and vanished.
Paige Bueckers, let me ask you this. How did it feel to be blitzed and played 94 feet before you even get a chance to bring the ball up court like your name was Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC? You didn't like that, huh? You hear me? You out there was looking like you was about to cry. Yeah, so what do your fans have to say now? Excuse me, where are your Paige Bueckers fans at? That's y'all MVP and face of the league, right? She's boring. She's not good enough. She gets special treatment. But understand, she kept getting blitz after blitz after blitz.
Let's not sugarcoat this. Paige Bueckers got one night of the Caitlin Clark treatment and she collapsed. The media's so-called next Caitlin Clark didn't rise to the occasion. She shriveled into just another bench option. This is the same Paige the analysts swore was more poised, more polished, more efficient. Yet when the lights burned brightest and the defense got physical, she looked lost. That's the difference between hype and history. Caitlin Clark has been writing history since the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court. Paige. She's just another name in the long line of players who couldn't survive in Clark's shadow. The numbers say it. The film says it. The narrative screams it. Paige Bueckers isn't the heir, she's the product of a media hype machine that finally got unplugged. And when the Seattle Storm ripped the curtain back, they didn't just hand her a bad game. They exposed the illusion ESPN and the WNBA have been desperate to sell since Clark rewrote the script. And once fans saw the truth, the hoax collapsed.